Okay, so it's Wednesday again, so time for another random Status Quo song review. And our random number generator has got its number 332, which is Gotta Get Up and Go from the Party Ain't Over album. Yeah, so as I said in my review for the song Making Waves, I thought them Under the Influence was a renaissance for the band. But then momentum was lost, because after that they did the second covers album, Famous in the Last Century, after which came Heavy Traffic, which I think is what most people see as the band's renaissance. But again, after that came the covers album Riffs, and then after that came another Greatest Hits, Excess All Areas, which was only 7 years after the Whatever You Want Greatest Hits, which was only 7 years after the Rocking All of the Years Greatest Hits. So that just felt like, I don't know, treading water and resting on your laurels. Yeah, so by the time 2005 came around, when they were finally going to do another set of original tunes, the good vibes from Heavy Traffic seemed like a bit of a distant memory. And then the warning bells were kind of ringing when the first single came out, the title track, which was a John David song. Unfortunately, it was more kind of in common with the song he contributed to Ain't Complaining, which was Across That Bridge, as opposed to either Red Sky or Rolling Home from the In the Army Now album. So my hopes for the album were quite low, and it lived up to those hopes. But Gotta Get Up and Go was maybe one of the slight highlights, if you can say that, one of the maybe redeeming features. But I still find it a bit flawed. I wouldn't be the first to compare it to Softer Ride. I think lyrically it's in the sort of same era, I guess. Softer Ride's about not wanting to work again. I kind of take that as I don't want to work again, I want to play music. And Gotta Get Up goes more on the side, I don't have to work, I've just got to go and do a show. I could be completely wrong. You can let me know in the comments if I am. But so there's that, and then the kind of intro's got that same kind of guitar static, incessant build up like Softer Ride, and it builds and it builds, and it's really good, and that's where you think, yes, we're getting a good song. But then for me, it kind of falls flat when the band comes in. It's like the power just kind of drops. I think it's maybe because the vocals are so high in the mix and kind of dominate the band. The power of the song just seems a bit diminished because the band's down. The drums feel like they're being really tippy-tappy hit as opposed to being given a good thwack. So yeah, I think the mix deprives it a bit of its power, and it just kind of isn't quite as good as you think it's going to be. The kind of excitement and the build-up is kind of lost. For me, might not be for you. One of the good things to come out of the Party Ain't Over era or time was the DVD. I mean, one of the real highlights was getting the archive clips, which had the full 4,500 times from the NEC in '82. But there was also quite a good documentary on this of the making of the album. And one bit was showing Rossi recording the solo in the studio, and the solo is the best bit of the song. It is a really good Rossi solo, and it's quite extended, relatively, for a modern day Quo song. He goes on a little bit, and it's quite exciting. And actually watching it in the studio is a real highlight, and it's quite exciting. So get that's quite enjoyable, and the solo is quite enjoyable. I haven't listened to the song a hell of a lot, and I think it's mainly because it's come on that album, and I don't feel like ever putting that album on. So when I did put it on today, I was like, oh, that's a bit, maybe slightly better than I was expecting to hear. But I do think I think there's potential there, which was unfulfilled potential. So yeah, slight quandary of where to class it. I mean, when it came up as the song to review, my first thought was, oh yeah, occasional listen. And then listening to it, and particularly the solo today, I thought, it's maybe bordering on decent, but I don't know. I think if it may be a bit, as I said, today is the first time I listened to it in goodness knows how long, so maybe occasional listen is the place to put it. But I realise that means I'm saying it's not as good a song as Fiji Time, which I classed as decent. So there's probably a few people up in arms at that, but there's probably going to be quite a few songs that will end up classing as worse than Fiji Time. But there you go. So yeah, no, occasional listen, but I do think it's had much greater potential. I think if it was mixed better and the drums were a bit louder and the vocals maybe brought down and a bit more raw, it would be a much more enjoyable listen. I don't think they ever played it live. It might have been pretty good live. That might have boosted it. But there you go. So that's episode 10. And got to get up and go from the Party Ain't Over album. You can let me know what you think by leaving a comment, obviously.